Namo Ramana, prostrations to Ramana, shining as the self in all beings. By the immense grace of the self manifest as Ramana, we are meditating on the concept which is our resting place, or as Vaniji said, where is our resting place? In fact, I had a small discussion on whether it should be where or whether it should be which. And I had probably a thought process which made me suggest which, and where is equally good. So, where is our resting place or which is our resting place? But the emphasis is more on the resting place. கடலெழும் எழிலியார் பொழிதரும் நீத்தான் கடநிலை அடைவரை தடை செய்யாது உடல் உயிர் ஊனிலெழும் உனை உருவரையில் ஒரு பல வழிகளில் உழலினும் இடவெளி அலையினும் நிலையிலை புள்ளுக்கு இடநிலம் அடைவரை வருவழி செல்ல கடனுயிர் கடனுயிர் வருவழி சென்றிட என்ப கடலுனை மறுவிடும் அருணபூதரனே. This is the last verse of Bhagavan Ramana's Arunachala Ashtakam, 8 verses on Arunachala. And Srimati Sulochana Natarajan has set this verse in the Shruti Raga because it is the last verse. The Shruti Raga is one of the ragas which is used for the conclusion of the Mangalam. The finale is often called the Mangalam in a concert. Mangalam means auspiciousness. And why is the finale called Mangalam? Because we like to rest in auspiciousness. We like to remain auspicious in everything that we do. And our Vedic statement says, Bhadram, 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 Karnevi, Shunyama Deva, Bhadram, Pashye. Let my ears hear that which is auspicious. Let my eyes see that which is auspicious. Bhadram. The word Bhadra, the word Mangala, the word Shri, the word Shiva. All this mean auspiciousness, that which is good, that which is joyous. So, Ramana Maharshi says, we are seeking some place of rest. We are seeking something. We want to rest somewhere. And all of us are aware that every day, at the end of the day, we want to rest somewhere, which we feel is our home, preferably our home. Sometimes, of course, when we are traveling, we would be staying in some room, in somebody's home. Even there, we have a place which we allocate to ourselves, which is there, one little bed, one little corner, which is our own, where we go for what? To go to sleep at the end of the day. Every day, end of the day, we want to go to sleep. And if we have not been able to take that rest for more than one day, we would be extremely unhappy, to say the least. And we would be very, very tired. So by default, we go to rest every day. And we think it is a physical experience. We have a bed, we go, lie down on the bed. But it's not in order to lie down on the bed that we are going there, isn't it? Every day when we go to our bed and lie down, is it just that we want to lie down for a few hours? No. We want to sleep. We want that sleep every day. And even if we lay down and we started getting dreams, and we kept on having dreams, or the feeling that we kept on having dreams, when we wake up, we say, I didn't sleep too well. We're not very happy. But when are we happy? We are happy when we feel that we have slept well, which means we have gone to a place where we are not disturbed by any of our daily waking experiences. We are not disturbed by anything that we have gathered during the day or during earlier days or in our memories. We want to go to a place where we have put a notice outside the door, do not disturb. So we don't want to be disturbed. That is a place of rest. Very often, that place of rest physically, normally, everyone wants to come home. So Bhagavan Ramana says in this composition of his, he says, a bird may fly to any height during the day. It may soar to any height. இடவெளி அலையினும் நிலை இலை புல்லுக்கு. Even if it is going on roaming, where is it roaming? In the vast sky. In that vast sky, though it is roaming there, it cannot stay there. இடநிலம் அடைவரை இடநிலம் அளவிலை வருவழி செல்ல. It has to come back to the place from where it started soaring. It has to come back to the earth to rest. So there is a resting space. There is a physical resting space. With reference to that resting space, we can say, where is that resting space? Where? And we would say in our home, or as I said, in a hotel, or anywhere else. There are hermits and sages who would just say, under a tree, inside a cave. So, it can be anywhere. A physical resting space can be anywhere. If one is tired, we can see in the railway station sometimes there are families who may be they may be on long trips. And they will be fast asleep on the railway platform. They would have spread just the sheet and be fast asleep on that sheet because they're not aware, they don't even mind where that resting space is. But during that time, when they are asleep, where have they gone to? Which is the space they have gone into, or which is the space we go into when we go to sleep? We don't know. But that is a space which we are seeking. We want to go there every day, whether it's a known, I don't say whether it's known or unknown, though it is by and large an unknown space. It is unknown, I say, because we are not consciously entering that space. Without our knowledge, we fall asleep, and without our knowledge, we are awake. So there is a space into which we are entering in our deep sleep. And we don't recognize what that space is. Neither do we recognize that is the space we want to be in at all times. There are some people who recognize it. Sadhu Om Swami has a composition, and there's a Kannada translation of that. He says, Kareva vandu dina ramana guru ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆದೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ ಕರೆವ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ರಮಣ ಗುರು ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆದೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ ನೋಡಿಯು ವರ್ಣಿಸಲಾಗದ ಸುಂದರ ದರ್ಶನ ದೊರೆಯುವ ತಾಣಕ್ಕೆ ಕರೆವ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ರಮಣ ಗುರು ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆದೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ. He calls that space the heart space of Ramana. He will call me into the heart cave. Whose heart cave? His heart cave. Kareva, he will call me one day into that place. And it is a space which I won't be able to describe, even though I would have seen it. But it is going to be beautiful, he says. ಹಸಿವುದಾಗಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲದ. It's a place, it's a space where I won't have any hunger, I won't have any thirst. Swartha dvesha tamasallada. It's a space where I will not have any selfishness, I will not have hatred, I will not have any form of negativity. See, there is this dream. Everyone has this dream, sort of, If you look at the old music, sound of music, and she will say, box of chocolates for me to eat. Then far away from the cold. She's dreaming of a space where warm hands, warm feet. I will have a nice warm space for myself because it's a cold space. That's her dream. I want a space. I want a space where I can be comfortable. I want a space where I can be natural. And this is what we seek, not only in physical spaces, we seek this all the time in our experiences, in our relationship with people. We want to be with people with whom we can be natural, with whom we can feel comfortable, with whom we can feel safe. We want situations which are safe, which are comfortable, and which make us feel peaceful and happy. So, whether it is a relationship, whether it is a physical space, or whether it is an experience, in a sense, we are looking for a mental space through that. And that mental space which we are searching for is a space in which there is no disturbance and which is fulfilling, which is in a way peaceful, fulfilling and peaceful and joyous. This is the space that we are constantly looking for. And we sometimes may seem to find it also externally, sometimes not. Vaniji gave us in one of our workshops a cute, dialogue of the mind with the mind, of myself with myself, saying, and I don't remember the details, but I remember the gist of that dialogue where I could repeat it with my own details. Like, say, if I have a piece of chocolate which I want to eat, and one part of my mind starts telling me, no, you should not eat this piece of chocolate, because it's not healthy. See, it will disturb, it will add to your sugar, it will add to something else, cholesterol nowadays, many things are there. And it will add to all that. And it's okay, you should not eat it. And there's another part of my mind which says, this is my favorite chocolate. And what if I have a single piece? And then there'll be another part of my mind which will say, you haven't even got over your sense attractions. What is this degree of self-control you have got? You should get self-control. In Atma Sadhana, if you can't even control your tongue, where are you going to end up controlling thoughts? Where are you going to end up getting self-knowledge? You want to indulge in a piece of chocolate? So then there'll be something else in my mind, which is, there will be this conflict. Conflict happens almost every moment. So Vaniji very sweetly was telling us in that instance that where there are two, where there is duality, there will be conflict. There is bound to be conflict, even if that duality is within myself, and actually that is the source of the conflict. So we are in conflict all the time, and we are searching for a space in which there is no conflict. In another sense, it is said that when we look at external conflict, the great ones tell us the conflict is in your mind. That is the greatest battlefield. There's no greater battlefield. The whole Kurukshetra war is actually happening within you, and Sri Krishna is telling you to fight and win. So it is, conflict is there within us, and we are not wanting the conflict. At no point of time do we want conflict. At no point of time do we want disturbance. So a space we are seeking where we can rest. Everyone seeks that space. Everyone goes back to their resting space physically. And some of us who understand that there is a resting space within can go to that resting space. And that is the true resting space, says Bhagavan. Bhagavan calls that space Arunachala. There, and Sadhu Om Swami is telling, in that space there is no hasivu, daha, there is no disturbance from the physical identification with the physical body. There is no disturbance with identification with the mind, which has emotions rising and setting. So all these identifications have been transcended, and we have reached a space which is our own, and which is, rest means what? It means it is full of peace. It is something where seeking has come to an end. A place where we can rest is a place where I don't have to look for anything further. This space, yes, I have come here to be. Physically also, I have come to a resting space. Means I have come just to be, just to sleep, not to do anything. The place of rest or the space of rest is not a space of doing. It is a space of enjoying being. So, which is the space that we are really seeking? Which is the space of rest that we are really seeking? We need to find that out, says Bhagavan Ramana. Because he says, until you find it and until you get back there, you will be restless. Going to sleep physically every day is not being restful. You're just restless. You're forced by divine providence, by grace, you're forced to sleep. It is grace which forces you, pushes you into sleep. And what do? You are pushed into sleep by grace, and your tendency to act, your need to go forth and achieve something through action pushes you into the waking kingdom. It pushes you, he says, even into dreams. Your need to have these experiences, your need to enjoy something which is there outside of you, pushes you into activity in dreams, and then later it pushes you into the waking state until God feels, oh, this the pressure of the activity world cannot be taken anymore by this particular poor little jiva, and gives us the experience again of deep sleep. So, Bhagavan says this restlessness will continue. This is what he said in that Ashtakam verse. Kadalelum yediliyar poidarum neertam. Says there is water in the ocean and it evaporates and becomes a cloud. And then what does it do? Again, that cloud, due to condensation, becomes rain and comes back to the earth. Now, what happens to this water which has come down as rain into the earth? Does it remain inside that earth wherever it is, or does it disappear over there itself? No. Actually, the rain that comes back into the earth becomes groundwater. And what does any water do? That water comes up to the surface in some form or the other, and then it becomes a small stream, and then gradually many such small streams get together and it becomes a big river, and the river keeps moving. Where does the river move to? The river moves towards the ocean. Kadal nilai adaivarai, and until it reaches the resting place, which is the sea, தடை செய்யும் நில்லாது. தடை செய்யும் நில்லாது. Even if it is stopped, even if you put obstacles in its way, the water will not stop. Water, we see in rivers, it will overcome the obstacles. It will keep on, even if there is a boulder, it will keep on hitting against the boulder, keep on hitting against the boulder until the rock slowly gets eroded and the water finds a path through that boulder. Sometimes water will go around the boulder to find its path towards the ocean. Sometimes it will go over the boulder. Sometimes it may even go backwards. We find when Ganga is moving towards the ocean, she comes down from the Himalayas and she comes into Rishikesh and she comes into Haridwar. And in Haridwar, she becomes Uttara Vahini. She turns back. She turns backwards. She has to flow down, no? But she is turning backwards towards the north. Instead of coming southwards, she is turning towards the north. She is becoming Uttara Vahini. In a way, it is said very beautifully that this place is sacred because she is turning back towards a physical source. But why does she turn back in that way? Obviously, because she cannot find the right path in the Dakshina. So she has moved back and then she will find and reroute herself. You know, the GPS tells us rerouting. So she is rerouting to get a better path to only go towards the ocean. It is not her intention, and neither can she do it if she wants to go right up back. Can she take another path and go upwards into the Himalayas? She cannot. So, Tadai sei nilladu, says Bhagavan Ramana. He says, the jiva, the individual being cannot be stopped until it comes back to its resting place, which is the self. The self is the resting place of each and every living being, which is seen as each and every living being by us as long as we are in the realm of duality. Duality means, of course, multiplicity. So we see many living beings. Actually, there are not many living beings. There are not many souls or jivas out here because there is only the one self. But we see that there are many, because if you see one, if you do not see Advitiya, if you do not see the non-dual, you will see the dual, you will see two, and if you see one itself, you will see two, and you will see three, and you will keep on seeing multiplicity. But let us see it from wherever we are. The jiva, or the individual being, which is a sense of separate entity. I am so and so, I exist within this physical framework, and I have a mental predilection, I have a particular mental attitude, which is all connected with this physical entity. Everything I experience is connected with this physical entity. That is the individual being. So this individual being cannot rest, says Ramana, until it gets back to its own source, which is the self. So whatever we may be doing, we are only doing in order to get back, says Ramana. So he says that I see Nilladu. Similarly, the bird which is flying in the sky cannot stay there but must get back to its earthly resting place. Similarly, Kadan Uyir, until the Jiva reaches you, Urupala Vadigalil, that is the river, Kadaledum Gediliyar, Poridarum Neethan, Kadanilai Adaivarai, Tadai Seyin Illadu, இடவெளி அலையிலும் நிலையிலை புல்லுக்கு இடநிலம் அலை வருவழி செல்ல கடன் உயிர் வருவழி சென்றிட. When this being, when the sense of individuality turns back to where it came from, then it finds its resting place in the self. இன்பக்கடல் உனை மறுவிடும் அருணபூதரனே. It will remain as the ocean of bliss that you are, O Arunachala, says Bhagavan. The I which turns back to its source will find its resting place. And until it does so, Urupala Vadigalil Uralinum Nillad. Neither will it stop if it is obstructed, nor will it stop though it keeps on rotating, keeps on getting caught in the whirlpool of multiple activities, says Bhagavan. Urupala Vadigalil. In many ways, what is happening? Uralinum. It is getting whirled around. This eye is getting tossed and turned and turned and turned again and again. It is cyclical. In fact, if we just look at our lives going again and again and again doing the same things. Muruganar Swami, in his poem, the first poem which he offered to Bhagavan Ramana, he says, in the Hindi translation also, he says, Swan Saman Vishwa ke path par bhatak chuka main ban ajnani kahan kahan भटका सिर फटका भले बुरे की परख न जानी, भटक योनियों में अनगिनती, क्या क्या नहीं सहा है मैं। गुरुवर रमण सदा शिव ईश्वर, बारंबार कहा है मैंने, भटक योनियों में अनगिनती। I have gone through so many forms which I have taken, says Yoni. I have taken so many births, so many forms. In Shiva Puranam, the great Shaivite saint Manika Vachaka, he says, Pullagi, Pudai, Puruvai, Maramai, Virgamai, Paravayai, Pambai, Kallai, Manidarai, Peyai, Ganangarai, Pallasurarai, Munivarai, Devarai, செல்லா நின்ற இத்தாவர ஜங்கமத்தில் எல்லா பிறப்பும் பிறந்து இளைத்தேன் எம்பெருமான். I have gone through so many births, and very often I think we don't know what is our previous birth. We don't have to know, is what I feel, because in this birth, how many incarnations we keep taking, how many forms we keep taking. First of all, the roles which we play, we become sister, mother, daughter, friend, teacher, student, then whatever is the profession, accountant, etc., etc. So many roles that we play are all our multiple births. And then we have this emotional play which we have. 1 minute we are the angry person, 1 minute we are the sad person, 1 minute we are the happy person, 1 minute we are the wondrous person, 1 minute we are the excited person. So many incarnations that we keep taking from minute to minute, identified with this body, but identifying with the thoughts and the mental experiences that we are having. Sometimes we are living in the past, sometimes we are living in the future. So we are having so many modalities through which we experience and express ourselves. And there, at one point of time, we may feel, I'm a little tired. This we have expressed in one of our dance dramas, where there is this wave which keeps moving towards the sea. It keeps going again and again. Again and again, the wave is going back, but coming forward into the beach. Going back, but coming forward into the beach. And then we have the voice of the sea calling to the wave. Wave, come back into the sea. Come back into your source. Come back. And the wave says, no, what a beautiful time I'm having. So many things are happening in the beach. Dances are happening, children are coming, there's laughter, there's music, there's, wow, it's such a beautiful panorama. But the voice doesn't give up and says, just taste the beauty of your own nature also. Just see whether that is beautiful or not. It tempts us in various ways, like the Sadguru tempts us, like Sadhu Swami is tempting us in that song, saying, no hasivu, no daha, no swartha dvesha, no negative experience at all you have to contend with. Nice bliss, we are told, of the self is full of joy. It is such a great joy that Taittiriya Upanishad says, oh, just the greatest human joy is just one joy. Then million times that joy is the joy of the Gandharva. Then more million times Deva Gandharva, Manushya Gandharva, Deva Gandharva. Then it goes on, multiply. And million times multiplied of the highest human happiness is the ananda of the self, and that too we cannot say, yes, surely matram, nimatram bhuvanam samastam. This is a tiny speck of joy. This whole universe, what all we can experience here. We are being given temptations to get back. Like that, the voice of the ocean says, come back, come back. You can experience many bounties here inside also. But the wave doesn't give up easily. It's accustomed to going out. So, like our mind, it keeps saying, no, 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 that has to be finished today. That task is very important. And without me, no, the world will not run. We are convinced that without us, the world will not run. The world will come to a standstill if we are not there, if we are not acting, if we are not reaching goals. The world will come to an end. Sun will not rise, sun will not set, wind will not blow, fire will not burn. Nothing will happen. The atmosphere, the sky itself will fall apart if we don't contribute through our actions. That is our inner conviction. That's why we can never stop acting. That's why we cannot get back to our space of rest. Because we are restless because of that. And so the wave doesn't give up easily, it doesn't want to get back. But at one point, the inner voice of the sea asks the wave, aren't you a bit tired? Aren't you a bit tired of doing the same things again and again and again? And so, Muruganar Swami says, தெருக்கடை அலைந்து திரியும் நாய் போல தேர்ந்ததே தேர்ந்ததே தேர்ந்து. Like a dog roaming the streets, again and again. He uses the word 3 times. தேர்ந்ததே தேர்ந்ததே தேர்ந்து. Again and again and again, choosing the same objects. There is no real, newness in any of the experiences that we have. Nothing new at all. We are, from the moment of birth till this moment of our lives, wherever we are, whatever positions we are, it is again the same things, the same navarasas, 9 kinds of experiences. It may be, in Natya Shastra, we are given 9 emotions. Whatever you experience within that gamut only, a bhayanaka, fear, adbhuta, wonder, raudra, anger, karuna, sorrow. Then so many, sringara, love, bhibatsa, disgust. And I think I'm forgetting another 2 or 3, but anyway, at this moment. But there are 9, and including finally the Shantarasa, the 9th one. But all these experiences again and again, one of these, they are cleanly classified. Waking, going through the day, going to sleep, dreaming, waking up the next day. And what do we do? What do we want? Some goal, action, 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 action for attaining a goal. Or thoughts, thoughts, thoughts. If we are not physically acting, we are acting with the mind which says, do this, do that. If it's not saying do this, it says, I have experience. Either it is in the realm of action or it is in the realm of being the enjoyer. It is in the role of being a doer, or in the role of being a thinker, or in the role of being an enjoyer. If we are very lucky to be detached, we can be in the role of enjoyer. If we are very attached, we are constantly in the role of doership. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. Otherwise, we are in the realm of the thinker. I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of that, I'm thinking of this. Or if we have withdrawn from both and we are able to be a witness to our thoughts also, then we are in the realm of being enjoyers. And what is this Sakshi, what is this witness doing? It is seeing the same repetitive actions. Tiruchuri, Ramana was born in the space called, in the sacred place called Tiruchuri. It means a sacred whirlpool. By Tiruchuri, another poet says, it is to help us overcome or come out of the Bhavachuri, the whirlpool of becoming. So, again and again, if we are little tired, little bit if we feel, oh, I want some real rest, then Ramana says, here it is. The space is right here. It is here. It is not anywhere else. You don't have to roam the worlds for getting back to your real space of rest. And that is what you are seeking. And Brahmaji, very sweetly, in one of his lectures, I was telling Maniji, I was inspired to think of this subject based on that. So he says, you are seeking something. Seeking means we have to get somewhere. No. If I am looking for something, I have to go from one place and hunt for it, look for it, search for it. Seeking is a process. A process always has a duration in time and a movement in space, because time and space are completely interlinked. They are not apart from each other. If there is no concept of space, there is no time. In the here, there is only now. Absolute here. There is no space to move to, there's no space to move from. Then there is time. And if there is time, there is space, because how do you measure time? You measure time through space. The sun rises, the sun sets, you feel there is time. A day has elapsed, right? So, there is movement, there is seeking. And what is it that we are seeking? He says, everyone says, Swamiji, we are seeking happiness. We are seeking peace. So, he says very sweetly, he says, okay, fine. So let us say we are going to find out this happiness. We are going to get hold of this peace. So tell me, where have you lost it? Where have you lost this happiness which you are seeking? Where have you lost this peace which you are seeking? You must have lost it somewhere. Without losing it, why would you be seeking it? If we have not lost something, we wouldn't be seeking it. At least we are under the impression that we have lost it. And he makes another very interesting point, and that is, he says, it cannot be a new thing that you are seeking. It cannot be an unknown thing that you are seeking. Because how can you seek something which is unknown? We cannot seek something which is unknown. Can we seek a gagabugai? Do we seek a gagabugai? If you ask me, what is a gagabugai? Well, I will say, I don't know, maybe you know. But if you don't know the gagabugai, can you seek it? Can you look for it? Can you long for it? There must be at least little knowledge of something which we are seeking, which we are looking for, which we are longing for. And if there is knowledge of that something, that means we have experienced it at some point of time. A man comes to Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi and he says, you say happiness is natural. But Bhagavan, I have not experienced a moment's happiness since I have been born. So I cannot believe that it is something which is natural. In fact, if you ask me, When I was in my mother's womb, my father died. So everyone started saying, this child in the womb is an unlucky child. That's why the father has died before even the child was born. And then I was born, and I have had a life of complete misfortunes only. Not even a moment's joy have I known. And then Ramana Bhagavan sweetly asks, okay, why have you come here? Why have you come here? To find a solution, isn't it? To find that space of rest from your misfortunes, you have come to me. And if you believed that there is no way out, that misfortunes alone are your lot, that is your very nature, to be unhappy all the time, why would you have come to me? It is because you have the faith that there is a possibility to come out of this trauma, to come out of this net of sorrow in which you are caught. Therefore, you have come to me. So, your inner being has faith in the happiness which is your nature. That's why you want to come out of that trauma. You're still trying. You have not given up on yourself. You can't give up. உருபல வழிகளில் உழலிலும் நில்லாது. The jiva, even if it is caught in many sorrows, it will keep making an effort to move towards happiness, which is its resting place, which is its resting space. That happiness, that joy, that bliss, which does not have even a trace of sorrow. Even the shadow of misfortune cannot be cast on that space. Such a space is that which we are all really seeking. And sometimes our mind tells us, enough of all this running around, enough of this constant movement towards one goal after another. Let me rest for some time. Let me truly rest for some time. And then Ramana says, as I said, here, here, I am here, I am, is here. It is calling every one of us back to its, back to that perfect silence, which is not disturbed by any wave. The absolute depths of the sea, which is not disturbed by all the movements of the waves on top of the sea, in which there is not even the slightest sinking. There is not even the slightest movement of the mind. There is no movement to achieve any goal, not the movement to do something, not the movement to think about something, and not even the movement or the need to enjoy or simply have the joy of knowing an object. Even that movement is not there in that resting space. It is absolute rest. And that is the resting space which every one of us is seeking. Resting space is our own self. And how do we find it? Bhagavan says, if we are keen on getting back to that resting space, all we have to do is either to trace the thought back to its source. That is the question, whence am I? Aham iti uta ayati. Aham iti kuta ayati. Iti anvishya anta pravishtaya. Ahamiti kuta ayati tyanvishya anta pravishtaya tyamaladiya. Avagamya swam rupam shamyatyarunachala tvainadivabdhau. It is like the river merging in the sea. The mind merges back into its source. And then what happens to the river? Then what happens to the seeking? It is dissolved because the river now rests as the ocean. The ocean doesn't have any place to go to. The ocean doesn't have anything to reach, anywhere to reach. So the ocean even doesn't have anything to do. Everything happens in the ocean. So you get back to the source, says Raman, the source of the I thought. And how does one do it? Every time a thought arises, we know that the thought is for us, for me. This thought is mine. So I am at the center of all my thoughts. I am at the center of all my experiences. But where from is this sense of I arising in me? Where from do I get the feeling I? Where from does this arise when I wake up? And where does this set into when I go to sleep? It must be within me. The self has to be within me. It is not as if I get my sense of I-ness from somewhere outside. It is not implanted into this body, is it? It seems to be rising from somewhere within me. So where from is it rising? And Bhagavan Ramana says, it's rising from the self. Everything, every experience is rising from the self. See, when we watch a movie, Bhagavan, in his 40 verses, he says, Sarvair nidhanam jagatohamascha vachya prabhu kaschidapara shakti chitretra lokyam chavilokita cha pata prakashopyabhavatsa vikaha. This movie of life which you are witnessing, there, of course, there are many factors there. You are there, the screen is there, the movie is there, the light is there. But in this actual seeing of the movie, everything is one undivided. The one who see the screen and the light, the images, everything. If we look at our own experience, he says, you can look at the mind. Let us look at the mind. To understand this little better, let us look at our dream experience. When we are dreaming, we dream of so many things. And when we wake up, if we are asked, where was the dream? It was in my mind. The dream was in my mind. And with what did you create the entire universe? With what stuff did you create the entire universe? The stuff is only the mind. And what is that stuff? What is it made of? What are our thoughts made of? What is the mind made of? Mind is made of thoughts. What is thought made of? It is nothing but the light of consciousness. What is there within us except the light of consciousness? It's there outside. There's no within and out. But for us to understand what is there within us, actually, if we look within ourselves, we say, I am Sarada. Do I find one little solid body sitting within me? To say I am experienced, my I is within me, I say, and within me, I feel the sense of I within myself, within myself. Each one of us agrees. We feel the sense of I within ourselves. As what? Not as one physical form made of all these things that this physical form is made of, not the five element physical form. It is just a subtle experience or a thought of being an entity. So, what is that thought created? What is the stuff with which the thought is created? Nothing but consciousness. So, we have to get back to the source, means we allow the I thought to remain without its attachments to other thoughts. Instead of going outward, we turn it inward. From where is this rising? It is rising from consciousness. We will understand by trying to just watch the I thought. And many seekers say, so we have to, in where am I? What is the source? Whence am I? Goes hand in hand with who am I? Who am I really? So we can ask ourselves the question, who am I? Who am I when thoughts are not there? Or where from does this experience arise? And in this, there is one more clue which Ramana gives in our endeavor to get back to the resting space. He says, there is a space within the limits which you have assigned to yourself. Since you have assigned a boundary to yourself, since I feel that I have this boundary which I call I, which is my physical form, I think, but actually it's a mental boundary that I have created for myself. Within this boundary, he says there is something called a spiritual heart. This spiritual heart, he indicates, is a little to the right of the center. The center, and a little to the right of the center is the, just a little, is the spiritual heart. One can turn one's attention, try to seek the source of I, try to seek the source of attention, try to seek the source of awareness here in the space by just turning attention within us back. We don't know that space. It is in that sense, Vishwanatha Swami also told me, it is a concept to begin with. That there is a spiritual heart is another thought. But the point is, like I usually give the example of tuning into a radio. You see, when we want to tune into a song on the radio transistor, we switch on the transistor, then we move the knob of the radio. In those days, the knob was there, right? So you move the knob, then you get to the right station, then you do little fine tuning to hear the song well, which you want to hear. And once we have started hearing the song, how important is the knob? How important is the station? How important is the transistor radio? It doesn't, none of them matter anymore once we have started hearing the song. And where is the song actually? The song is not sitting inside the transistor radio. The song is everywhere. It is in the air. But it needs a transmitter. It needs something to catch it and transmit it to us. So that is the location which Bhagavan is saying. So once if we get back, focus the attention on attention itself actually. That is the resting space. Focus awareness on awareness instead of focusing awareness on an object. By trying to, we may use the clue of the spiritual heart, which is the resting space, says Bhagavan, and turn our attention inward, then what happens is the thought which arises from there will subside over there. The I thought which rises first, and then the I thought catches hold of all other thoughts. So when we are asking where is this I, other thoughts have been cut off, the I is taken back to its source and it rests over there. When it is resting, it's not worried about space or time or any other concept. And it is absolute peace, the absolute fullness. And there will be no more worry about doing. Actions will happen of their own accord. They may happen, they may not happen, it does not matter. So in Upadesha Saram, Bhagavan says, Krityamasti kim swasthitim yataha. If you are in the swasthiti, if you are in your own natural state, your own natural space, if there can be space as an analogy for it, because it transcends space and time. But if you are in your home, Hridayaham, if you are in the Hridaya, which is your home, and you're totally comfortable, you're totally at ease. So, Bhagavan says that self-inquiry is the cure for all ills, for all diseases, because it puts you completely at ease. It takes us back to our true resting space, the self. So, sarva klesha nivritti syat phalam atma vicharataha. So, this is rest. This is rest from the bondage to the body which brings pain and disease. So this is freedom and rest. Rest from having to constantly maintain good health of the body. It is rest from thought, the burden of thought, which is a huge burden that we are carrying all the time upon our head. I don't want to anymore carry this burden parted from you, says Ramana. I don't want to carry this burden on my head. It is rest from that burden. It is rest from the burden of every kind of seeking. Because seeking means movement, it means again desire and fear. So it is that rest which is complete and full. It is the space of being as one is. Ekamaksharam Hritinidantaram Bhasate. It is constantly shining. It is shining completely. And to that space, Bhagavan Ramana is calling us. Our own self is calling us back to come and rest in its fullness. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri